The feisty and courageous TV judge Judy startled everyone when she made the shocking decision to divorce her husband. Something occurred to her after years of marriage that made her take a daring move, and everyone was wondering what had changed her so drastically. I don't understand why Judge Judy just walked away. Get ready to be astounded by the unexpected rationale behind her decision. Both Judge Judy and Jerry Scheindlin were quite busy with their legal careers in the 1970s when they first crossed paths. It was during Judy's stint as a judge that she met Jerry. New York City was already home to a motivated attorney named Judy. Can you fathom the thrill of meeting someone with such an incredible career? Although Judy was pleased by Jerry's position, she also sensed an immediate connection. They wanted to investigate potential romantic involvement because of the undeniable attraction between them. This wasn't your average social gathering. It marked the beginning of a profound change in their lives. Judy and Jerry were fascinating examples of strong, self-reliant individuals who had clear life goals. At first, they didn't allow their hectic schedules affect their relationship. However, as things became serious, they had to find a way to balance work and love. Judy was rising to prominence as a legal leader, and Jerry was famous for his work as a judge. They were both aware that their occupations were time-consuming and that they couldn't always make time for one another. It wasn't always easy being married, particularly because Judy and Jerry both had jobs that kept them quite busy, but they still decided to take the big step and get married in 1977 despite the obstacles. It would be challenging for a couple to maintain a healthy work-life balance if they achieved great success alone. As her career progressed, Judy became well known for her no-nonsense approach to legal matters, whereas Jerry was an accomplished judge with years of experience in the field. Their shared dedication to their work sometimes got in the way of their ability to really engage with one another. They were married for a long period, but their occupations were always causing tension. Work issues weren't the only thing that was straining their marriage. Because Judy had children from a previous marriage, she had to navigate the challenges of blending families. There were children born to Jerry from his previous partnerships as well. It was difficult for them to adjust to the new regulations since merging families is never simple. Judy has spoken on the challenges of juggling her roles as a mother and an employee, particularly in ensuring the well-being of her family. Being a judge, a parent, and a spouse were all responsibilities that Jerry had to juggle. In those early years, they endured many challenges, but they persisted in the belief that all will be resolved eventually, even if it was difficult for him to fulfill everyone's requirements. Their commitment to one another and affection for one another kept them going through the tough times. The relationship between Judy and Jerry started to deteriorate in the late 80s. The strain of their professions started to show in their relationship as they both worked long hours. After her father passed away, Judy admittedly found it extremely difficult to cope with everything. Grief, worry, and exhaustion were making it hard for them to connect, and Judy was starting to feel even more alone in her marriage as a result. They were a mixed-race family, which added stress, and she said later that it wasn't just the work. They also had various requirements and sometimes felt they couldn't satisfy one another's desires. Each group of children has unique requirements. Judy's children from a previous marriage were dealing with their own issues. It is always challenging to combine two or more families, but it becomes much more so when both parents are employed. Despite their best efforts, Jerry and Judy often found themselves in arguments. After years of trying to bridge the growing chasm in their communication, they finally gave up. Divorce was the difficult choice they made in 1990. Looking back on Judy and Jerry's early years as a married couple, it's evident that their marriage was never easy. They felt like they were swimming against the current at times, and there were many emotional and professional issues that needed solving. What they sought out of love, life, and work was shaped by all they went through. Rather than shattering them, the challenges they faced as a couple taught them valuable lessons about one another, and the qualities their partnership needed to endure. Their eventual reconciliation is a direct result of the hardships they endured, as we will discover. Judy and Jerry's tale exemplifies the challenges of juggling career, family, and love, but it also highlights the significance of perseverance in the face of adversity. Judge Judy and Jerry Scheindlin made the tough choice to end their marriage in 1990. What actually happened, I hear you asking? Did one major event trigger their decision to split up, or did a number of smaller ones accumulate over time? The death of Judy's father was a major event. However, it was a combination of the two. What occurred to Judy was a profound emotional effect from the loss of a parent or other loved one. The impact of Judy's father on her life had been substantial from the beginning. She was devastated and saddened by his passing because of how close they were. Experiencing a giant weight on your chest, it's hard to breathe, hard to think, and it makes everything feel so much heavier, is how Judy characterizes the sadness she felt after her father died. She was at a loss for how to cope with these overwhelming emotions. Her marriage began to suffer as a result of the immense emotional toll it took. According to Judy, she was not the strong, capable wife that Jerry required, since she lacked the necessary energy and strength. Due to the overwhelming nature of her loss, she was unable to invest as fully in their relationship as she had before. Even though he was a judge by trade, Jerry made an effort to support Judy. Although he wanted to be there for her, he couldn't put himself in her shoes and comprehend the pain she was feeling. Judy felt as if they were growing apart despite his best efforts to console her. It seemed as if they belonged to separate realities. It seemed as if Jerry lacked the necessary skills to empathize with her suffering and provide her with the necessary assistance. He lacked the emotional availability that Judy required, and he wasn't the kind to just sit and chat about feelings. She began to have a profound sense of alone, despite Jerry's physical presence. Judy has said that she had a lack of emotional connection with Jerry at this period. The fact that she had trouble connecting was not due to a lack of caring for him, but rather to the sadness and stress brought on by everything happening in her life. The sensation she had was that of a wall separating them. In the midst of Judy's grief, Jerry was unable to provide the support she needed. A gulf opened up between them as they resorted to less effective means of communication. Their relationship's strain only deepened with the passing of time. Judy was unable to concentrate on anything other than her loss due to the emotional toll it had on her. Even more so when she was feeling weak, this strong-willed lady did not want to rely on anybody else. Meanwhile, Jerry, who had always been more realistic and direct, was unable to penetrate Judy's emotional barrier. Unfortunately, his efforts were insufficient. A lot of hurt feelings and misunderstandings led to the decision to end the marriage and obtain a divorce. Judy has stated her belief that they were no longer in the same orbit. Jerry couldn't rely on her for emotional support, and she couldn't find the connection she craved from him. Despite their best efforts, partnerships sometimes experience periods of difficulty that are ultimately unsurmountable. Though they went their own ways after the divorce, Judy and Jerry never forgot what happened. Their lives and their love took a dramatic swing at that moment. Both Judge Judy and Jerry Scheindlin had to adjust to a new reality after their 1990 divorce, living apart. Judy and Jerry were both burdened emotionally by the choice, and it wasn't easy for either of them. It was an introspective period for Judy. From the devastating loss of her father to the anguish of her divorce, she had endured an immense amount of suffering. Much of her mental energy was devoted to analyzing the breakdown of her marriage and developing strategies for moving on. Judy said that she put a lot of energy into her profession and self-care when they were separated. Once again, she had to discover her inner power and figure out how to live alone. She became more dedicated to her career and eventually became a television celebrity. Judy often expressed a longing for the connection and company she had formerly had with Jerry, even though she was becoming more successful on her own. Despite their disagreements, the love they had did not magically go away, and neither did the pain of divorce. Despite her hectic schedule, Judy never seemed to shake this subtle melancholy. It was just as difficult for Jerry. Even though he had always been self-reliant and had no issue facing challenges directly, this was different. Unanticipated ways were impacted by his marriage's dissolution. He felt terrible about their inability to resolve their differences. They had been such a close-knit pair in the past. Jerry has said that he realized how naive he had been in their relationship before their split. Even though he missed Judy, he knew there were complex reasons behind their breakup. His time alone allowed him to process what had happened and how he can improve for the future. Judy and Jerry went through their own struggles and development spurts throughout their time apart. Jerry realized the value of emotional connection, and Judy gained a better understanding of her life and relationship goals. They overcame the suffering and are now moving on. Something happened, however, and it prompted a major choice, so the narrative doesn't conclude there. After Jerry and Judy's 1991 divorce, they shocked everyone by announcing their remarriage the following year. Wait, how did that happen, you may ask? Well, upon reflection during their time apart, they came to a crucial realization. They loved one another and want a second chance. They had both had time to think about what they appreciated most about their relationship throughout their separation. They realized they might have improved themselves and that they had both erred. Both of them gained wisdom from their separation. Finding a happy medium between her work and her personal life was something Judy came to see as crucial. Instead of being so work-oriented, she could have been more approachable and emotionally accessible. Conversely, Jerry realized he needed to be more sensitive to Judy's emotions and supportive of her emotionally. Because of the growth they had experienced throughout their year apart, they were prepared to give it another go, this time approaching it with more maturity and tolerance. Remarrying gave them a new beginning. It was more about gaining insight from the past and applying it to the present. They reignited their love and resolved to face the world together again. But this time they would listen to one another, understand one another, and support one another. Love isn't flawless, but it's worth battling for, and it was beautifully reminded of that. In the end, Judy and Jerry Scheindlin were able to reconnect. They demonstrated the power of taking a break and returning to your partner with a more profound understanding and gratitude for the love you share. Their second shot at love was about more than just mending fences. It was also about maturing as a couple, taking stock of their past errors, and embracing the future with even more affection. In addition to her forthright opinions on marriage and relationships, Judge Judy Scheindlin is famous for her no-nonsense style in court. Gender dynamics in relationships, including the fact that men and women approach living together differently and have distinct emotional requirements, are topics she has discussed at length over the years. Judy often discusses the need of mutual effort in partnerships and has been forthright about the challenges of marriage. In her view, there are significant gender differences in the ways that men and women think and feel. The emotional depth that women offer to a relationship is often misunderstood by males, in her experience. Despite the difficulties she has faced, Judy stresses the need of being patient, communicating well, and being willing to compromise in order to keep a relationship strong. Particularly in light of her evolving perspective on work-life balance, her views on marriage have changed. When Judy was younger, she was fully committed to her job as a judge and all the obligations that came with it. This dedication sometimes made it difficult for her to show her emotions. But as the years passed, she realized how crucial it is to make room in a relationship for both partners to feel emotionally connected and supported. While Judge Judy is confident in her own abilities, she has said that she also appreciates partnerships in which each partner helps to ensure the mental and physical well of the other. She has said in interviews that being emotionally vulnerable and transparent was one of the most important things she learned throughout her marriage to Jerry. This insight demonstrated that she and Jerry had matured and adjusted to one another's needs, which was crucial to their choice to remarry after their divorce. Judge Judy and Jerry Sheindlin were given a second opportunity to establish a solid and enduring connection when Jerry remarried in 1991. They had both grown from their previous errors, and the foundation of their rekindled marriage was mutual regard, tolerance, and understanding of one another's feelings. After enduring difficulties like their first divorce, they understood the need of making a concerted effort to maintain a healthy partnership. They were able to keep their relationship strong in part because they made time for each other even though they were both quite busy. Despite their busy schedules, Judy and Jerry managed to find time for one another because they knew how important it was to stay connected. Better communication, particularly on sensitive subjects, was another skill they honed. They dealt with their emotions by talking about them freely rather than letting them fester. Judy often says that the second time they spoke, their communication was much better. They are now able to communicate about difficulties before they escalate, when previously they had trouble maintaining emotional distance. Their lasting love was built on their commitment to work through problems and open communication. They were also thoughtful enough to savor the little pleasures of life. Both Judy and Jerry take pleasure in spending time with their families and in the memories they've made together. They worked on celebrating the good times as much as the bad, which helped them connect emotionally. Nevertheless, there were difficulties in their relationship. Jerry's public persona and Judy's popularity both presented unique challenges. In spite of all that came their way, they were there for each other and made their marriage their first priority. Because it depicts the nuances of love, maturation, and second chances, Judge Judy and Jerry Sheindlin's tale touches the hearts of many. From the divorce to the remarriage, their story shows how relationships can change and grow despite obstacles. Their unwavering devotion to one another and capacity to triumph over personal and emotional obstacles has captivated audiences and earned them admiration. There is a world outside of the courtroom where Judge Judy's impact is felt. She has become an icon for women everywhere, representing courage, self-reliance, and determination. She has shown time and time again that women can have successful jobs and satisfying personal lives. Marriage, in her perspective, is a partnership that demands effort, understanding, and flexibility to meet the requirements of both partners. Many people look forward to Judge Judy because of her inspiring life narrative, which includes her roles as a judge and a wife. Not only does she serve as an inspiration to those in the legal field, but to everyone who values development, learning from errors, and solid collaborations. Her life story has inspired many individuals and has left an indelible mark on how society views women, careers, and marriage. After this horrific occurrence, Judge Judy made the courageous decision to divorce her husband, proving that even prominent women confront challenging decisions. Like, subscribe, and keep an eye out for more stories like this one if you liked it.